We start off by melting 16 teaspoons of ghee to make this Shatavari Ghee, to make this homemade Shatavari Ghee, which is amazing for women support, women who are vata and entering menopause or feeling fatigued and weak during their menopause or even after childbirth. Now we see that the ghee has completely melted on the slow flame, so we will put it aside for further use and start working with the dry herbs.
Now we're heating 16 teaspoons of water.
To this we're going to add 4 teaspoons of Shatavari. We want to cook this on very low flame, and as you can see, all the water is evaporating and the Shatavari is completely mixing in, making a very nice paste. And of course in Ayurveda this paste is often called kalka, and with the kalka we make kashaya, but we are only trying to make a little bit of a kalka, and we want all the water to evaporate so it becomes a very thick paste. When it's a very thick paste with practically no water, we will add in our 16 teaspoons of ghee. So the ratio is 4 times. So we took 4 teaspoons of Shatavari, added 16 teaspoons of water, and we keep on stirring it and making sure all the water evaporates till it becomes a nice thick paste. Of course, if you were to do it in Ayurvedic company back in India, it's done very properly. The first thing you make is the paste, and then you make a kashaya in which 16 liters of water is heated till it becomes only 4 liters and so on. But we are doing a homemade version of the Shatavari Ghee. Everything is 4 times. You want to make sure nothing is sticking here. You see how it's making a very nice, beautiful, thick paste, and all the water is evaporating. Water is sufficiently evaporated and it's thick enough for us to add our ghee. So remember the ghee that we had melted in the beginning? We add that entire ghee in there. And we start mixing it in very nicely. You have to constantly stir. Because there's water in that mixture, it's not going to be perfect. Keep on constantly stirring. So I've added a ready-made, something I had made before Shatavari Ghee, to this mixture as well to make it quicker. And as you can see, it's getting really nice and thick. wonderful. Our Shatavari ghee is absolutely done, and it can be stored in a nice glass jar or a glass bottle, and it'll last for a long time because the ghee acts as a preservative. Now I'm making this particular one for a person who's vata, but who's also getting some hot flashes, some pitta issues. So I'm going to add some rose syrup because rose syrup is wonderful and cooling, and turn this Shatavari ghee into a nice Shatavari jam. Very nice thick rose syrup ghee. Have it all mixed in. Of course you can add, when you're customizing this, as long as you follow the ratio, you can add vidari, Punarnava, all the beautiful ashoka, lotus seeds, all the wonderful women support herbs. If it's a kapha woman who has water retention during menopause or maybe after childbirth, or then you can add Punarnava. But this particular rose syrup, I think, already had a little bit of lotus seeds in it. Lotus seeds are wonderful for women. Not that, Shatavari is that bitter. It's actually, you can have it without any sweet. But because this vata person's also having some hot flashes, the reason I did not add ashoka and a lot of other herbs is because this person is not used to a lot of herbs. So I want to keep it simple. Everything is organic. I've used organic ghee, all organic herbs. It's a beautiful, absolutely wonderful. See, there's a little bit of water here that we want to evaporate, so we keep on doing this so this whole thing evaporates. Nice, beautiful, gorgeous red color. The water separates and it's going to start evaporating. And there's some lumps, but these are all roses, which doesn't matter. So we're gonna let it sit on very low heat, and I'll keep on stirring it for the next 10-15 minutes till all the water evaporates. Now we can see the water is almost evaporated, and I've turned it off, and I'm still stirring it. So as ghee cools down, it'll condense along, giving it a very beautiful jam-like consistency. You can see the consistency has changed. And there's still some evaporation going on, but mostly it's just like a jam rather than just the ghee.
So if you wanted this to be warming rather than trying to cool down the hot flashes, you might use honey. Is that right?
Yeah, the reason we haven't used honey is because honey is very warming. But normally in Ayurvedic jams, the honey is added right at the end because you never heat the honey. Because when you heat the honey, honey turns toxic. But the rose jam can be heated. So if we were making it just for women's support but not for hot flashes, on a vata person who needs warming, we would probably add honey at the end just to, give it a nice anupana. Anupana is a vehicle that carries the herb to the tissues. But in this case, the anupana is the ghee itself. And the roses and the presence of rose and shatavari will pacify vata and pitta. Very, very simple actually if you think about it. Now we're going to start getting ready to pour it in a nice glass container. You really don't want to pour it in any container which is not glass, because glass is the only thing where the swabhav, the prakriti and the constitution of the herbs will not change. You put it in, it doesn't matter what plastic or you put it in aluminum, steel, they all will change the energetics of the herbs. Steel will warm it up, iron will warm it up, copper will warm it up, aluminum will make it toxic, plastic will leach out. So you just want to have a nice small glass jar. Glass jar.